Billie Eilish's hobbies are not a secret for her fans. She is an open and sincere girl, but still, she has her own secrets and hobbies that you might not know about. So what are they? What does she like to eat besides burritos? Why did the parents want to send Billie to a psychologist for therapy? We'll find out soon. I must admit, when I was looking for information, I came across a lot of fakes and contradictions. A lot of the information was familiar, and only a few things really surprised me. For example, I had never heard of Billie being crazy about beans. And that's completely true. She once said beans mean more to me than my friends. Of course, that was a joke, but still. A lot of people like apples, peaches, and here are beans. However, hardly anyone was surprised now, even if they didn't know it. That's Billie's nature. But it's still funny. As we mentioned food, let's continue. As you know, Billie doesn't eat meat. Billie said that her parents kept her on a vegetarian diet since she was a child. Not 1 gram of meat. And in 2014, at the age of 13, she became a vegan, giving up milk, eggs, and other animal products.
I'm a vegan.
Billie usually eats a lot of fruits and vegetables, and she makes up for her iron deficiency by taking special pills, which her mother gives her. I usually put pennies or metal jewelry in my mouth, so I'm obviously iron deficient, Eilish admits in an interview. In general, absolutely everyone knows that Billie is a vegan. But what are her favorite dishes? I'm sure not everyone knows this. You think her favorite dish is a burrito? Not really. Billie's favorite cuisines are spicy Indian and spicy Mexican. First, many of their dishes are vegan and consist only of fruits and vegetables. And second, they are very colorful.
Fuck you mean, where are the avocado?
The singer several times mentioned in various interviews that her favorite product is potatoes, fries, country style, chips, but most of all she adores mashed potatoes. Without butter, milk, eggs of course. Indeed, you can get many dishes out of potatoes, and mashed potatoes is one of the most delicious. I like mashed potatoes. Do you?
Shut the fuck up, you got an amazing...
And of course, when it comes to Billie's favorite foods, we can't help but mention the burrito.
My strange addiction? Burritos.
There are so many jokes associated with this product and the girl that anyone who's more or less into Billie knows about them. By the way, if you think about giving her a burrito, remember that she likes a lot of pepper.
18 burritos and only beans. Okay. You know what? Make that 20.
Well, it's already too much about the food, so let's name one more important dish, the last one. You will probably laugh, but these are chocolate biscuits. When Billie writes her songs or just wants to relax, she bakes cookies. Her favorite recipe is chocolate chip peanut butter cookies. This process replaces a psychotherapist as it's kind of a psychological relief for her. And with such a tight schedule and popularity that has fallen on her head, she definitely needs it. Hell, is there anyone who doesn't like chocolate biscuits? Well, enough about food, or this video will make you hungry. Let's move on to Billie's other hobbies. Of course, we can say that she is fond of music. This is news. Clothes and shoes, dancing, but absolutely everyone who is not from another planet knows about this. Sorry. But still, I will remind you about dancing. One day she received a serious leg injury, which did not allow her to continue to dance in the future. But watching how Billie Eilish moves on stage, one can say she still exercises sometimes, albeit several times less than before. Another hobby that Billie doesn't do as much now is horseback riding. When Billie was 12 years old, she loved to ride horses. She even worked at a local stable to pay for riding lessons. I loved it very much, and I worked to do it. I worked at the stable for 2 summers. Occasionally, we still see her riding horses, but it's very rare. Most likely, she just doesn't have enough time. It's unlikely Billie would unconsciously hide this hobby.
Ooh, that's hot.
I don't think you've forgotten that Billie still loves horror movies. Of course, she's older now and has obviously changed her repertoire of favorite movies, but until recently, she really liked The Babadook, American Horror Story, and The Walking Dead. To my mind, The Babadook is a bad movie, but teens and kids might enjoy it. Perhaps if you're a real fan of Billie, you've heard all of these hobbies. But there's another fun fact you may not have heard about. It's no secret that Billie was a fan of Justin Bieber as a child. Of course, she loves him now and often talks to him, but as a child, she was just obsessed with him. Her parents, of course, noticed this and wanted to do something to help their daughter. For example, send her to a psychologist for treatment. It actually sounds pretty humiliating because as a child, we all have our heroes and get a little crazy about them. But then it goes away. I was a huge fan of some person. Did you feel the same?
You saved my fucking life!
Anyway, maybe Billie was really overreacting, but it was her parents' decision. Here's what Maggie, Billie's mother, said. Just want to point out that we really thought about taking you to a therapist. You were in so much pain because of Justin Bieber. It was so bitter. So much pain. Billie didn't like the story. Perhaps Maggie really shouldn't have told the whole world about this fact. Sometimes parents forget that they were children too, and that they also had their own hobbies and idols.